Glen Grant 10-year-old is the only Scotch whiskey in the world to be awarded Best 10-year-old for 7 times.
It's an experience that money really can't buy.
If I was going to any other distillery, I will just see, oh, how clean is the distillery.
Hi everyone, Swati and Vinayak from the Dram Club.
Welcome back to our channel where we dive deep into the world of whiskey, bringing you closer to some of the finest drams from around the world. And in today's video, we will talk about one of our favorite distilleries from Scotland, the Glen Grant Distillery. A distillery that we have visited multiple times. So, Swati, why don't you tell us your favorite memory from your various visits to the distillery?
2 very distinct memories. One, of course, the entire experience with Dennis Malcolm. He's been working in the distillery for 60 years.
Yeah.
He turns 78 this year. But you can almost see like a childlike passion that he has for the entire distillery. Even on a rainy, stormy day, he took us around the distillery for almost 3 hours.
It was raining very heavily.
Yes. And so that's obviously one. It's an experience that money really can't buy.
Yeah.
But my second and very distinct memory is from the tasting room. Where we tasted the entire expression.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of the 21-year-old left in the bottle. I asked him to sign that, and then I carried the bottle with me. So I think that is something really precious for me.
And have you thrown away that bottle?
No, I have kept it.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I have hidden it from you.
Okay, got it. Yeah, it was bloody rainy and stormy that day. Not the best weather to visit any distillery.
Yeah.
But his energy, his warmth, and just the entire passion for whiskey just made up for all the gloom around.
I mean, the garden there is so pretty, so beautiful. I just wonder how it would look on a sunny day. So, obviously, it's a beautiful distillery. It has the longest serving master distiller. What's your favorite memory of visiting the Glen Grant Distillery? Because I also know that you visited it many more times than I have.
So it's hard to pick one particular memory because, before last year when we all went, 8 of us were there at the distillery. I was also there in April 2022, where I was the only one with Mr. Dennis Malcolm for about 7 hours. And those 7 hours, hard to pick one particular memory, but I think a couple of things that stood out really was one, obviously when he takes you on a walk through the garden to his private stash where all those bottles are kept in that small refrigerator, pulls out the bottle, brings the copper dog out, throws the copper dog into the stream that runs past the distillery, pulls the water out of the stream, and then adds it to your glass of whiskey, right? Or in which he has poured you a whiskey. So that moment itself, having water added to the whiskey from a fresh stream and by the man who makes those whiskeys. So that was phenomenal. Another thing was, whenever I was going around the distillery, Dennis pointed about the cleanliness in the distillery. At different points in the distillery, he will just show me, oh, see, there's no dust here. So Dennis is absolutely particular about cleanliness in the distillery. And that set a benchmark for me, because from then on, if I was going to any other distillery, I will just see, oh, how clean is the distillery? Is it as clean as Glen Grant? So I think, and that man's energy, passion for whiskey making is unparalleled. He's a 3rd generation whiskey maker.
Yeah.
His grandfather was working at the distillery. His father was working at the distillery. He was born at the distillery. So, I mean, I think that entire time spent with Dennis Malcolm, whether it was with all of us when we went last year or before that or year before that, I think nothing beats that. I think our whole conversation about our visit to the distillery or time spent with Dennis Malcolm can be a never-ending episode. So let's get back to what makes a distillery special other than Mr. Dennis Malcolm. So Swati, why don't you tell us some interesting facts about the distillery and what makes it so unique?
The distillery was first established by brothers John and James Grant in 1840. The distillery has many firsts to its credit. For example, it was one of the first distilleries to install electric lighting at the distillery. It was also one of the first distilleries to start bottling its own single malt at the distillery compounds.
In fact, James Grant was also the founder of Morayshire Railway Company that ran train lines between Lossiemouth up north and Elgin. The train line facilitated efficient movement of supplies to the distillery. The train line not only aided the Glen Grant distillery, but it also helped growth of a lot of distilleries in the Speyside region. In 1872, James Grant, nephew of John Grant, also fondly known as the Major, introduced water cooling purifiers at the distillery to capture only the finest vapors. And what do these finest vapors do? Well, they give the whiskies from Glen Grant Distillery their light, delicate, fruity and floral character.
The Glen Grant Distillery has been a part of the Campari Group since 2006. And since 2013, Glen Grant is the only distillery in Speyside to bottle every drop of its whiskey on site.
And Glen Grant is the only distillery to have a 27-acre Victorian garden that was built in 1886. And after all that information about the distillery, let's explore its core expressions available in India.
First up, Arboralis, a recent addition to the core range of the Glen Grant Distillery. Arboralis means light from within the trees. It was launched to commemorate 180 years of the distillery. Bottled at an ABV of 40%, you can expect notes of green apples, pears, and some butterscotch.
Next in the lineup is the Glen Grant 10-year-old. Glen Grant 10-year-old is the only Scotch whisky in the world to be awarded Best 10-year-old for 7 times. Bottled at an ABV of 43%, you can expect notes of vanilla, toffee, lemon zest, and peaches.
The Glen Grant 12-year-old was first launched in 2016. The 12-year-old is matured in both ex-bourbon and ex-sherry casks. Bottled at an ABV of 43%, you can expect fruity, floral and malty notes.
Next expression in the core range is the 18-year-old, which was also introduced in 2016. Bottled at an ABV of 43%, you can expect notes of honey, vanilla, nuts and some fruit pastry.
Last up, the Glen Grant 21-year-old. The most recent entrant into the core range, this whiskey has been matured in ex-bourbon and ex-sherry casks. Bottled at an ABV of 46%, you can expect notes of dried fruits, raisins, dates, vanilla and baking spices.
So that was our quick introduction to the Glen Grant Distillery and its core range available in India. To know more about these expressions and a detailed review, please like and subscribe to our channel.